At this point in our video building process, it's time to record some audio. So once your microphone setup is ready, it's time to open your audio recording software. I use Audacity. It works well for me. Now there are lots of great audio recorder programs, so if you have a favorite, just use that. If you don't have a favorite yet, well, Audacity is a solid choice, and that's what we'll use for this example. There are a lot of features within Audacity that you can play with, and here we're only going to cover some of the common features, and we'll assume that you can research the rest as needed. If you need help with some of the details, certainly give a yell or search in YouTube for Audacity tutorials. There are lots of them. Your input device, or your microphone, is selected up here. I'll ensure that mine is set for an input from my Yeti microphone. The red circle starts the recording, and here's the button for stopping the recording. And here's the play button for listening to your recorded results, and we're ready to establish our recording levels. So you can monitor your levels here. And one way to adjust levels is using the recording volume slider. But you want to only use this for minor adjustments. Much better to do your major adjustments first by adjusting your mouth to mic distance and/or the levels on your microphone or preamp. If you do major adjustments in the software, you'll introduce other problems as this amplifies any imperfection in your system. And your goal is to fit your signals nicely into the window here, as it's easy to keep an eye on them and note any problems. For example, let's play around a tad. If your gains are too high, then you can hear it start to cut off the signal. Let's adjust that back a bit. And here it is back to normal. On the other end, if the gains are too low, then it becomes quite difficult to hear. It's true that you can increase gains in your processing later, but this will often create other problems again. That is, any imperfection in your system is being amplified as well, complicating the cleanup process. You want to get your levels close to perfect before you start any real recording, and this will minimize your processing and related complications. And it's time to record. Here are a few hints for the actual recording process. Now, I always leave a bit of dead space at the beginning and the end of each recording. You don't want to be fumbling around as you try and hit the buttons at the perfect time. You want to be relaxed. So click the start button, sit back, get your bearings, take a breath, and then start your recording. At the end, again, don't try and focus and look for that stop button in a rush. Finish talking, casually stop and look for that stop button. The dead space at the beginning and end of an audio clip only takes a second to remove later. Just one less thing to think about. Second hint, if I'm recording and I mess up and I'm near the beginning of a script, sure, I'll stop and start again. But if I'm a good ways into a good recording, I don't want to be doing it all over again. I'll just stop, shake it off for a second or two, take a breath, and start again at the beginning of that last sentence to keep the flow. This timeout not only helps with getting your bearings, but when processing, you just look for that big gap in the audio and helps quickly see it and select the little mess up area and delete. It's like it never happened. Third hint, minimizing distracting and annoying noises. We know that a good condensing microphone will pick up sounds really well, and sometimes too well. 3 common noises that people often fight with during the early recordings. Puffing or pop sounds. Catching up in your breath. And paper. Puffing sounds are from talking directly into your mic. And so getting close and talking directly at your mic, something that we want to do to some degree, is going to cause you those puffy sounds. And there's 2 easy ways to solve this. You can talk less directly into the mic. In other words, you can be close, but aim your mouth just a little above or beside the mic, and or buy a pop filter. Easy fixes for that. Catching up in your breathing or general mouth noises. Have a glass of water beside you and stay hydrated. That really helps with the mouth noises. And also be conscious of your breathing patterns as you start. You don't want to be talking and talking, and those are going to be all picked up. So you'll be able to get used to that with practice, but just be conscious of it as you go along. If you decide to work with paper printouts, and sometimes we do, avoid touching them while you're recording. And if you have to, turn a page or flip it over or something like that, do it during a gap. In other words, stop, give yourself a little gap of time, turn it over, know that you're not going to be talking during touching it, then start again. And that way you have a nice clean little area that you can go cut out afterwards. So we talked about minimizing the processing needs, but we should also recognize that there are some useful tools in Audacity to help with the minor adjustments. We have amplification here, and noise reduction, and normalization, and a whole bunch of other things. Bottom line, the better you prepare for the levels and problems in the beginning, the less time you'll be spending in the post-production phase to get exactly what you want. So when you're finished your audio clip and it's time to save it, we just go to File, Export, and then you can save it. And we often save it as a WAV file, although MP3 or M4A or other files are available, but a WAV file works well. And you can put it into your project folder, staying organized. And it'll be time to move on to the next step.